Based on my time going through 3 survivors and my time going through cancer, I figured I'm an expert at surviving, isolation, I guess you can say. So I developed a little bit of a guide that I use to help me get out of the cancer, and that maybe can be helpful to some folks going through this situation right now in the world.
Survivor Africa winner and one of this season's Survivor Winners at War players, Ethan Zohn, is one of the most inspiring people to ever play the game. He continues to captivate viewers this season with his perseverance and motivation. I caught up with Ethan via video chat from his home in the middle of the woods in New Hampshire, and he shared with me how he's been enjoying this season while in self-isolation. Take a listen. So sometimes when you're on Survivor, you have these big viewing parties. Obviously, with social distancing, that's not really the case. How have you been watching and enjoying the season?
Basically, just watching at home, but, frantically texting all the other guys and girls that are on the show with me, kind of, commiserating and wishing we would be together for this incredible series. But right now, it's just been fun just watching alone at home as well. I guess we have to make it fun.
Oh, is there a group text with everybody, or is it just old school?
I mean, you're not on it? Oh, old school?
Well, I'm not a Survivor winner. I'm a 3-time loser, so.
Oh, well, I'm attuned to losing as well after my time on the second Survivor All-Star, Amazing Race, Fear Factor, all that stuff. I've lost a lot of things in my life.
So Ethan and I couldn't get too much into this season's gameplay since the competition is still going on. I have a lot of questions, I'll have to save them. But one of the most inspiring moments from this season is when Ethan, along with Natalie, Danny, and Amber, had to overcome mental and physical obstacles while completing a task on the edge of extinction. Ethan shares that it was the camaraderie between him and those 3 women that really helped him push through.
Yeah, it might sound a little cliche, but I think the mind is just such a powerful tool. And in moments of despair, and when you think your body's going to put out, your mind can really get put into action and help you get through the most difficult times in your life. So that's kind of what was happening during that log challenge, where they made us walk up and down this crazy hill 20 times to carry a log to win 1 fire token. But the second part of that is the fact that there were 3 other women there that helped me up that last leg of the race. And so I really feel that, one, being open and vulnerable enough to be able to ask for help and receive that help to, make it that final steps was huge for me. And, maybe a lot of the other players, I don't know what they would have done in that situation, but, for me, I needed them to help me get through that most difficult time. And I think what's going on in the world today, it's okay to reach out and ask for help. It's okay to be vulnerable. And everyone who's going through this crazy time, fear, anxiety, uncertainty, that's okay. Those are natural feelings to have. And I was going through those moments out there on the edge of extinction as well. And it just felt really wonderful to be able to rely on these women in a game when we're all supposed to stab each other in the back and, be the last person standing. There's this moment of empathy and compassion that we all had for each other and work together, to get to the end of that challenge.
That episode was so emotional, really showed how tough Ethan is. And Ethan is not only inspiring on the game of Survivor, he's a literal survivor in real life. You have this incredible story. You beat cancer twice. When you look back at some of the toughest times through that journey, what is something that really helped you overcome those tough days?
Well, I often mention to people that, when you are sick and going through a health crisis, in that moment, it's not that difficult. When a doctor tells you to do something, well, you'll die, you pretty much do it. There's not that much choice involved. But for me, once they sent me home from the hospital and they're like, okay, you're in remission, and expecting me to get my life back in order and just jump back into the life I was living before, that for me was the most difficult part. Living with the fear of the cancer coming back, with the invisible scars, the uncertainty, that's what was the most difficult part for me. So getting out of that mindset and being able to live a life not full of this fear and anxiety was just a huge hurdle for me to overcome.
Ethan really has overcome a lot and has so much wisdom. And he's actually compiled some of that wisdom into a helpful isolation survival guide for those really feeling the impact of hunkering down at home. It includes everything from leaning on your family and friends to focusing on the plight of others.
Unlike when you're going through cancer or Survivor, that's a pretty individual experience. There wasn't much opportunity to share what I was going through, because what was going on with me in my life was completely foreign to pretty much everyone in my community. So Now, which is an interesting aspect to what's going on in the virus, is like we're all going through the same thing at the same time. And I think it's really important to be able to lean on each other and connect with each other in this time of crisis, because, it's important. I always say never let a crisis go to waste, because it's an opportunity to do some important things. And I feel that's going on right now. So anyone who's scared out there and who's feeling a little bit of anxiety about what's going on, my advice is to, take a step back, relax. And then if you're obsessed, like I used to be with these, I call them what if scenarios. When I was post-cancer, I kept thinking like, what if the cancer comes back? What if I die? What if I can't get a job? All these things. And I started ruminating on these destructive thoughts. And the same's going on with the virus. I literally got a sheet of paper and I go, what if I get the virus? And then I wrote down a plan of action for what I would do if that situation actually happened. And then I just filed it away. I literally filed it away. So next time when that thought came into my head, what if I get the virus? I'm like, oh, I already thought about this. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I go reference this thing, and then I can move on with my day. And every time these thoughts come into my head, I just go and I reference what I already planned out. And it was just easier to move on and get past that moment of fear.
Ethan also emphasizes the importance of structuring your day, especially if you're not used to working from home. Take a listen.
For me, when I was in isolation for 260 days, I woke up and I made a schedule for each and every day. So literally wake up, read the paper, do my emails, make a phone call. And then by the end of the day, I would look back and feel like, oh my God, felt I was so unproductive, but look how productive I was. And emotionally, it just made yourself feel a little bit better. Obviously, health and wellness is really important. So learning how to keep yourself healthy and active during these times of isolation. I mentioned the what if scenarios. Uncertainty causes anxiety. And that's what's happening in the world today. So if we can get a little bit of control over this uncertainty by mapping out how we're going to react to these crisis situations, I think that will put everyone in a better, more calm environment as well. Laugh a little bit. I think that's really important. Keep your sense of humor around, watch movies, call friends. And then one of the most important things I feel, and it's definitely happening right now, is the concept of focusing on the plight of other human beings can help you heal. So even in the middle of my crisis, going through cancer, or even in the middle of that horrible log challenge on the edge of extinction, we made a choice to help others, even in the middle of that horrible situation. And I truly believe that if we can rely on other people and use this crisis to do important things for others out there, it can help you heal as a human being. Just like any situation, don't feel like a rush or the pressure to go out and totally revamp your entire life just because of where you are right now. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
I love him so much. He's honestly one of the nicest people I've met. You can see more of Ethan and his survivor skills on Survivor: Winners at War, airing Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS.